Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, man. It's one of my favorite videos that I get to do because I just it really makes me think about fishing, about scenarios, and about baits. It's a top 3 baits for July coming at you right here. So, you know, one thing that we do with all these baits that is kind of cool, we give them away. So you guys need to stick around to the end, leave me a comment. We're going to mail them off, and we're going to announce last month's winners. We're giving some really cool baits away. So, the month of July, when I think about the month of July, man, you know, around here, you know, you catch them, you know, when they first get out and they get offshore, you know, the schools are starting to break up. They're just not as easy to catch, you know, here, you know, Midwest, South, you know. Then I think about up north in July, I think, man, smallmouth are still spawning. But I think largemouth, man, they're done spawning. They're seeking shade. Everything gets a little bit tougher to catch in July. So when I think about these baits, and these baits I'm going to tell you about, that's kind of what's going through my mind. And I want to start the very first bait off because it's kind of been the way things have been going here for me lately fishing. You know, I've gone the opposite. I've gone up shallow. I've been really shallow catching my fish here lately. And, you know, it's just the opposite of what you think. The water temperature's in the 90s. Man, those fish have been shallow. So a skipping jig. Man, that is going to be like a bait that you can throw under docks, under laydowns. Those fish are going to be up there shallow. And this is a really neat jig. It's got a really concave head. It's got the right hook. It's just super easy to skip. I did a really cool video with Andy Montgomery where he taught me how to skip and gave me some more pointers and tips, you know, how to skip a jig. But the month of July, it's a great time to have this bait tied on. You know, especially up north when you're under those docks, and not even up north. You know, when I think about my home lake right here, Grand Lake, I think those dock fish are the least molested fish on the whole lake because they're the hardest to get to. And if you can become more efficient in your skipping and your casting and putting that back in those corners and those docks, under those walkways, you're fishing for fish that don't get fished very often. I mean, I have a few friends on Grand Lake that have houses, and it's just funny. They will tell me, like, you know, the same people pull up to every point. Like, one boat leaves, another one comes. There's boats on those easy-to-fish open banks around the clock, way more than I ever realized. He's like, Edwin, they're there every day. During the week, during the weekend, it doesn't matter. But they don't fish the boat dock. So keep that in mind, man. If you're out there struggling, it's probably some of the least molested fish, you know, around this part of the country and even up north because it's hard to get your bait there. So we're going to give away these skipping jigs at the end of this video, guys. Just leave me a comment. I'm going to pair this thing with a Boss Grub. It's got a lot of action. It's lightweight. It doesn't have a lot of restriction when I go to skip it up underneath there. It's a cool color Skeet came out with. It's called Skeet's Green Money, but it's bluegill colored. Like the color skipping jig I've got here is just brown, green, pumpkin, just for really clear water. You're skipping a jig most of the time in fairly clear water. It's not going to be in that muddy water. And you know, one unique thing about the new Berkley skipping jigs, these things are brand new, just on the market this year. They've got that power bait scent in them. So it's just one added attractant that, you know, we all know how good a power worm is. Now you've got it in that skirt material. You know, when that thing goes, you let it go to the bottom, it sits there for a second, those fish are going to be able to smell it. It's going to be able to help get you some more bites. So, with that said, I've got 3 skipping jigs. So, I skip a 1/2 ounce jig most of the time. I do go to a 3/8 some of the time, but I got 3 of these skipping jigs. I got 3 packages of these Boss Grubs. We're going to mail these out to you, and they're all going to come in a Plano tackle box just like this, the new Edge. Super cool boxes, man. These are the ones that are completely wide open. They've got the water wick system, and you can customize them any way you want for any bait. They go any direction. just fully customizable tackle boxes that you guys can use. So, all right, that's bait number one. That's a bait that'll work up north. That's a bait that'll work south. That's a bait that'll work in the golf course pond, skipping it up underneath the willow trees. So really, really good bait. All right, the next bait. It's kind of an underutilized bait. It's kind of a bait that's under the radar a little bit, I feel like. But man, this thing's caught a bazillion bass. And it's the old 10-inch worm. I mean, I can't tell you how many big fish I caught in my career in July throwing a big 10-inch worm. It's just a great, great bait to throw in July. You know, this is a thing that I will throw it in areas up shallow, on laydowns, on logs, on stumps. I will drag it around, you know, out offshore. You know, deep fishing, I will put that thing on a Carolina rig. It's phenomenal on a Carolina rig in the month of July. It's just a big bait that offers a big meal to those fish. So when they only want to feed once or twice a day, you know, they can just get a meal in that big worm. And I've just been amazed, like upsizing my worm in certain situations, man, fish just, they bite it. It's just a really, really good bait. So if we're talking about colors on the 10-inch worm, you know, what am I going to tie on first? Man, if I want to tie one on first, it's going to be a blue fleck or a June bug. Then a red shad. You know, you can't go wrong with those three. I don't throw green pumpkin very often, but you can't ever go wrong with green pumpkin. But always for me, that blue fleck power worm has been the best. June bug's really, really good, as is red shad. You can't go wrong with any of those. I'm going to rig that thing on a 5/0 hook. If I'm fishing it up shallow, you know, outside of grass, I'm going to have a lightweight 3/16 1/4 ounce weight, 17-pound test. If I'm fishing it out deep, I'm probably going to have it still on that 17-pound test, but I'll go up to a 3/8 or a 1/2 ounce weight, and I'll go with a little lighter wire hook. I'll still have a 5/0 hook in it, but it'll be a little bit lighter wire. Big, you know, 7.3, 7.6 heavy action rod, high-speed reel. That's going to be how I'm going to have that thing set up. And again, that's a bait that's going to work. You can catch them up in Minnesota, on Minnetonka on this thing in July. You can catch them at Grand, I promise you right now, on that thing in July. And you can catch them in your farm pond at the golf course on that thing in July. It's just a great, great bait. So leave me a comment, guys. That helps me choose, you know, go down through there and randomly pick a winner. Okay, the last one. It's kind of an up north deal, a down south deal. And, you know, with that said, I want to say I did this video last year, and these baits are completely different than my July baits last year. I always try to think outside the box, give you guys something a little different. We've been doing this now over a year. And go back and check out that video from last July, because I talked specifically about baits for up north, and I talked specifically about baits for down south. So I already gave those baits away, but you do need to check that video out to just to make sure you have those baits tied on to in your arsenal when you go fishing in July. And I'm sitting here thinking back through all the videos I've done. I don't know that I've ever done this. And it's like this is like one you could put at every month, because it's always tied on in my rod box. But in July, it's really tied on. You know, and we talked about the start of this video, how those schools break up offshore, how they get finicky, how they've been pressured. This bait right here will get those fish to bite. And it's just a drop shot, as simple as it sounds. You know, down south, I'm gonna have like a 5-inch straight money worm, maybe a 7-inch hit worm, you know, just on a drop shot. Like, you can just clean their clocks. After you've gone through your Carolina rig, you've gone through your crankbait, your spoon, your hair jig, you know, all those other things, pick up that drop shot and catch 2 or 3 more before you leave. And the same thing up north, you know, a drop shot. I'm gonna give all these baits away, but you guys have heard, unless you've been living underneath a rock, you know, the flatworm, and you know, I'm fixing to go up north and compete. I've got a bunch of these in my boat, in my truck, but a flatworm is just a great bait on a drop shot. Deep smallmouth, deeper largemouth, out off those outside grass beds. You gotta have a drop shot tied on in July. You know, if I'm down south fishing it, I'm still fishing it on light line, 8-pound test leader, 10-pound braid. I may go up to a 10-pound leader if it's fairly, really heavy cover in and around brush piles. But, just take your time with those fish. Put a little straight shake hook, like a 3/8 ounce weight, a 1/4 ounce weight, depending on how slow you're trying to make yourself go. The smaller the weight, the slower it makes me go. If you think about it, you just can't feel it. You can't move it very fast. Then on that flatworm, sometimes I'll nose hook that. Most of the time I'm gonna have that Texas rigged also. I like having that hook back a little bit further. But I've just got black right here. I've got the brown back version, and then I got green pumpkin party in the flatworms. And then, for the straight money worm, you just can't go wrong with this margarita red. It's just a phenomenal worm, phenomenal color. Just a cool worm, guys. I don't know what else to say about it. It is awesome on a drop shot when you look how limber that thing is. It's a fairly new worm. It hasn't been out very long. It's got a laminate color to it. Just a great, great color. Great drop shot bait. Comes in 2 different sizes. That's the small one, the 5-inch. Comes in a 7-inch that I like to throw a lot also. But man, a drop shot's a bait that will clean them up. Like when you can't get anything else in the month of July, have that thing tied on. All right, guys, that's the baits. I know that's simple, but I want you to think about that. I want to get to the winners from last month. We got some cool baits. We talked about, you just got to go back and watch the baits, but one of them is the H&E. I'm fixing to mail them out. They're all going to be mailed out in Plano. Plano, thank you for sponsoring this video. Appreciate it a bunch. Let's get to the winners. All right. We got Mark Poussard. I hope I'm saying that right, Mark. Poussard. Mark said, I look forward to this video each month. Need all the help I can get. Keep it up, the great vids. Thanks, Mark, for the great comment, man. That was super simple. I am mailing you the June baits from last month. So, Mark, I need you to go to my website and you send me your address and I will get those out to you. All right, the next winner, Christopher Cooper. Christopher said, took your tips and bait ideals and wore them out. Thank you, sir. Love the CMAP app also. Christopher, thanks for leaving that comment, man. Thanks for being a subscriber and a follower of the channel. I've got a Plano Edge box coming with those baits from last month to you also once I get your address on my website. All right, and then last I love his name, his title here, Fish for Life. Oh man, Edwin, you really done it this time. I got to have me some H&Es and those cranks and some offshore bassin out here in California. We have a lot of deep reservoirs and spots and smallmouth. Chew those up. So, man, Fish for Life, thanks a lot for leaving me that comment. Be sure you go over to my website and send me your address. I got something else I'm going to give away. We've got another pond series started. Just simple videos. I'm building my own ponds. I actually had help building the very first one. We're going to stock it with smallmouth, put tons of rock piles in it. I built the second one, or I'm in the process of building it. We got these videos coming out, and I've had a little help, but no hired help. And I'm kind of proud of myself with this pond. And it's going to be a trophy bluegill pond. But with all that said, I just wanted to give away something to the people that endured watching that video. And we said, hey, just leave a comment, name your favorite color in general, and we will mail you a pack. So we went through there randomly and picked 3 winners. And these are the winners from that very first pond series video. We got Taylor Smith. His favorite color was bubblegum. Taylor, send me your address on my website. I got Ghost Box. He said watermelon candy. And then I got Charles Lotta, a great follower of the channel. And he said green pumpkin purple. So all 3 of you guys, just mail me your address. I'm going to mail you a pack of Generals. I'll mail you Max Scent Generals because they're my favorite and they're hardest to get. And I like them. I think they're the best. So thank you guys for leaving comments on that over there. If you guys hadn't checked that video series out, it's going to be really neat. I can't wait to get those smallmouth in there. I'm also going to break it down how much it cost me. Like, I'm saving all my receipts. I'm kind of curious when I get this all said and done how much it's going to cost. So it'll be kind of neat if somebody else is wanting to build a pond, just what the budget to get that done. But guys, that's it, man. That's top 3 baits for July. I appreciate you following along. Just leave me a comment at the bottom of this video. I'll go through there randomly, pick 3 more winners when we do this all again next month. But you guys tune in next week. We're going to do the video series, Where to Start, sponsored by Optimum Batteries. We're giving an Optimum battery away every month. And man, that's a great value. Those things are $300 and they last forever, and I enjoy giving those away. Same thing, all you got to do is leave a comment. But we got that video coming out next week, so we'll dive off into places to start in July. So you guys have a great week, and good luck fishing.